إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وحده في ذاته ووحده في صفاته وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد فقد قال تبارك وتعالى كما ورد في سورة الروم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون صدق الله مولانا العظيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Today's khutbah is on climate change and the destruction of our planet. This is a subject normally is not discussed, but it is of great relevance to everybody, particularly us Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the beginning created a perfect world. It is God who makes most excellent everything that He creates. And He began the creation of man out of clay. الذي أحسن كل شيء خلقه وبدأ خلق الإنسان من طين. In another place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Hud said, هو أنشأكم من الأرض واستعمركم فيها. It was He who brought you into being from the earth and made you inhabit it. The complex creation of the universe and the time it took to perfect planet Earth is the greatest gift one can ever imagine to receive. God creates and we invent. Throughout history, man invented many things, and we take pride in our inventions and creations. Can our inventions, however, be compared to God's creation? The answer is simply no. God's creation is perfect, while ours is far from perfect. In many instances, one finds that our inventions contribute to the destruction of the perfect world God created for us. To demonstrate the deficiency of our inventions and the harm we cause to our planet, let us examine transportation. Although the traditional ways of transportation took longer to move between 2 points, the creation of such means, such as camels, donkeys, horses, and mules, are far more beneficial to the earth, to the health of the environment, compared to the recent mode of transportation man invented that move us at a very fast pace. These traditional modes of transportation serve multiple benefits aside from merely transport from one place to another. Cows, for example, they were created to serve multiple functions aside from tillage. Everything in a cow is useful for people and the environment. Its milk, its skin, meat, and even its manure. Manure is organic matter used as organic fertilizer in agriculture. It is a great source of enrichment for the earth, out of which our provision, organic food, is produced. On the other hand, the fumes that are generated by vehicles are harmful to humans and the environment. In fact, transportation is the largest single source of air pollution in the United States. Instead of protecting and safeguarding our planet, we are destroying the great things God created for us, all in the name of profits and materialism. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, We have become addicted to the use of fossil fuel as a source of energy. Most of our economy is based on fossil fuel. The transportation sector depends on oil, offshore drilling, while most electricity to light up our homes, among other uses, are from coal and natural gas produced by fracking. Without human interference, the carbon in fossil fuels would leak slowly into the atmosphere through volcanic activity over millions of years in the slow carbon cycle. By burning coal, oil, and natural gas, we accelerate the process, releasing vast amounts of carbon that took millions of years to accumulate into the atmosphere every year. By doing so, we move the carbon from the slow cycle to the fast cycle. According to some sources, we dump 40 billion tons of carbon into the atmosphere every year. 40 billion tons of carbon we dump into the atmosphere every year. Unfortunately, there is no such thing as clean fossil fuel. The US consumption will put a hole in the planet. We're knowingly destroying our planet. Tons of carbon dioxide are released into the atmosphere daily. The result is a change in global and regional climate patterns. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, carbon dioxide is a key contributor to climate change ahead of methane and other gases. Carbon dioxide accounts for 80.9% of all US greenhouse gas emissions. Scientists have linked greenhouse gas emissions to global warming and climate change. Climate change has significantly contributed to the depletion of natural resources, melting of polar ice caps, rising of sea levels, plant growth, and extinction of wild animals around the world. We are burning so much fossil fuel that the sea ice is melting. It is predicted that in 2040, not far from now, in 2040, within 23 years, one will be able to sail over the North Pole. No sea ice will be left in the Arctic Ocean. We have done considerable damage to the atmosphere. In an article dated March 15, 2017, very recently, according to scientists at NASA's Goddard Institute for Space and Studies in New York, they wrote, I'm quoting, February 2017, that was 2 months ago, was the second warmest month, second warmest February in 137 years of modern record keeping. The two top February temperature anomalies have occurred during the past 2 years. February 2016 was the hottest on record. The global warming is real. It's not a myth. Rising sea levels due to climate change is affecting major cities around the world and here in America, such as Miami, New Orleans, and Boston, among other cities. It made the Republican mayor of Miami a believer in climate change. As the sea rises, the water is coming into the streets and into the drains, causing floods. The mayor goes beyond debating the issue and addresses a major problem. It is what we call Aynul Yaqeen. This is Aynul Yaqeen. There is Ilmul Yaqeen, theories, knowledge about climate change, but when you see it with your own eyes, This is Ainul Yaqeen. This is certainty. I see it with my own eyes according to the Quranic terminology. So it is beyond theories and it is real. The sea is rising and the water is flooding the streets. Now, to combat the flooding, the mayor launched a $400 million project. And the project was to install pumps to pump back the water into the sea and raise the roads throughout the city. Now, this project will buy Florida sometime 20, 30, 40, or 50 years maximum. One may ask, what happens after 50 years? Sadly, the governor of Florida doesn't believe and doesn't buy climate change, and many other politicians do not believe it is a major issue. Even the president, maybe some of you have heard, he once tweeted, "It's freezing outside." You may remember that. Where the hell is global warming? The unfortunate and sad part, in his proposed budget, the president would slash the Environmental Protection Agency by 31% and cut funding to NASA's Earth monitoring programs, while increasing the defense budget and military budget by $54 billion. If this is not a sign of the end of the world, I don't know what is. We are accelerating the outcome of global warming, making our planet inhabitable, while at the same time we are investing in war machines to kill more people. Politicians are not alone in climate change denials. Mainstream media celebrities believe that climate change is illusory. It's a hoax. The reality is the fossil fuel industry do not want you to believe in global warming and climate change. It serves their interest to have you not believe in climate change and global warming. They find people with impressive credentials, be them politicians or influential media people, who are willing to sell those credentials to fossil fuel interests. Big corporations such as American for Prosperity, one of the most influential conservative organizations, advocate and lobby Congress on behalf of the billionaires Koch brothers. Koch Industries refine heavy crude oil into gasoline. Koch Industries is the second largest private company in the US with 2016 revenues, last year revenues of $100 billion. The Koch brothers are doing everything they can to protect that wealth. Heartland Institute is another front group funded by corporations to lobby Congress to protect their interests. The 131 fossil fuel funded climate deniers in Congress and 38 climate deniers in the Senate who support fossil fuel interests are engaged in an effort to lead the public astray in the name of short-term fossil fuel profits. This is the reality, my dear brothers and sisters. The politicians are elected officials by the people. And if the people put pressure on their elected officials to do something about climate change, they would. As noted by Harvard economics professor Gregory Mankiw, to talk about the political aspect of climate negotiations, he says, politicians, whether we call them elected leaders, are really elected followers. They do what people want them to do. We need to preach to the American people. Once the people are convinced, the politicians will fall in line. So we have a way now to influence the politicians through our votes, of course. we elect the politicians. Make it a point, all of us, make it a point to call your representative or senator and tell them where you stand on this issue of climate change. Make sure they support you on this issue of climate change, because all they want is your vote. And if we are enough out there putting pressure on them, they will have to follow our will, not their will. According to IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, an increasing rate of warming has taken place over the last 25 years, and 11 of the 12 warmest years on record have occurred in the past 12 years. It's consistent. Something must be done to save our planet and its inhabitants. Even the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, he claims that the climate change is coming much faster. We have seen such an extraordinarily extreme weather patterns, according to him. If we consider the vastness of this universe, this planet Earth is just a small boat. If this boat is sinking, we will then all sink together. Now, as much as it is a threat, mind you, Ban Ki-moon is optimistic and believes that this threat presents an opportunity for prosperity. He says climate change is the single greatest threat to a sustainable future, but at the same time, addressing the climate challenge presents a golden opportunity to promote prosperity, security, and a brighter future for all. In an inclusive interview with the Washington Times, Mr. Ban declared, and this is what's most important, he says, the debate on science and the debate on politics as far as climate change is concerned is over. Let us not talk about climate change anymore. Let us do something about it. We need an action plan to begin the healing process. To start with, we need to educate the public about this dilemma. Scientists are optimistic about the future, and we can repair the world. The first thing we need to do is the American, and I'm adding / Muslim conscience. This is the key. This is the most important in all the steps that we need to do. The first step we must take is to increase public awareness about climate change and inform them about the danger it poses to our planet vis-a-vis posterity. What's going to happen to my children, your children's children? This should be of concern to all of us, to all people. We must mount pressure on politicians to address the issue and pass bills to control the use of and eventually eliminate fossil fuel altogether. We have to show activism and join our voices to the voices of millions around the world. So we need to preach to all people. Once people are convinced, politicians fall in line very quickly. Of all the people, brothers and sisters, we, Muslims, understand the responsibility we have toward the planet. It is an amana from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a trust Allah placed on us. وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ وَرَفَعَ بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِيمَا آتَاكُمْ. And it is He, God, who has made you successors. خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ, successors on the earth, and has raised some of you above others in degrees of rank, that He may try you through what He has given you. Allah has given us this beautiful gift, this planet. And He wants to see, what are we doing? We are indeed the stewards, the keepers, the guardians, the custodians of planet Earth. We bear a responsibility to care for our planet. وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. And do good as Allah has been good to you. As Allah has been good to you, you do good too. And seek not to spread corruption on earth, for verily God does not love those who spread corruption. So brothers and sisters, we understand how serious this issue is, and we know that it is our responsibility to join our voices with the voices of millions of others to put pressure on politicians to change the course, to repair the world for our sake, for our children's sake, and for the generations to come. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to do whatever we can to be part of this movement, inshallah ta'ala. Allahumma ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ثم أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, I want to share excerpts from the International Islamic Climate Change Symposium. I'm so happy and glad that our scholars are taking this very seriously. So in that symposium, this is some of the excerpts from that symposium. They say, this current rate of climate change cannot be sustained, and the Earth's fine equilibrium, mizan, may soon be lost. The present climate change catastrophe is a result of the human disruption of that balance. What balance are we talking about? Surah Al-Rahman. وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ وَأَقِيمُوا الْوَزْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُوا الْمِيزَانَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَضَعَهَا لِلْأَنَامِ. He raised the heaven and established the balance. This is the cosmic balance. Allah created everything perfectly, in a perfect harmony, in a perfect balance. أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ, so that you would not transgress in the balance. But we have. I'm continuing from the symposium. Excessive pollution from fossil fuels threatens to destroy the gifts bestowed on us by God, whom we know as Allah. Gifts such as a functioning climate, healthy air to breathe, regular seasons, and living oceans. But our attitude to these gifts has been short-sighted, and we have abused them. What will future generations say of us who leave them a degraded planet as our legacy? How will we face our Lord and Creator? So Muslims must be aware of this issue and take steps toward addressing and be part of the solution indeed. And among things that we can do is definitely, if you invest in, so-called halal coal and gas and whatever, divest in those companies and invest in renewable energy such as solar, windmills. All of those are good sources of energy as a replacement for the fossil fuel. Solar power, solar energy is an alternative source of energy to change the climate conditions. This technology is climate friendly. Solar power is generated from solar panels. You have seen them, I'm sure, everywhere, but we don't have enough. And the thing is, that technology is proven to be now effective and cheaper than coal and natural gas, above all, more energy efficient and easy to install. Windmills, same thing. They generate power from wind. This is what Allah gave us, subhanAllah, the sun. Wow! We have everything that we can extract energy from, without having to destroy our environment, yet we would prefer, of course, the other old methods of energy just for profits. Among other things we need to advocate for is organic farming, preservation of rainforests, prohibition of radioactive and toxic weapons. The depleted uranium, you know the effect of that was depleted in Iraq during the war. We are harming our planet and in some instances killing its inhabitants. وَلَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ بَعْدَ إِصْلَاحِهَا ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. And do not make mischief in the land after it had been set in order. That will be best for you if you have faith. According to the Quran and the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, preserving the environment is not only a moral obligation, it is a religious duty and a social responsibility. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade cutting trees, even at times of war. He gave clear instructions regarding the preservation of natural resources, land and environment. He once said, if a Muslim plants a tree or sows seeds and then a bird or a person or an animal eats from it, it is regarded as a charitable gift for him. So plant trees, plant fruit trees, let those birds come eat off of it, and you will be rewarded for that, but at the same time you will be helping the environment. Yes, you may think and say, well, it's only one tree. What is that going to do to this serious problem of climate change? Well, if you want to take to that attitude, then guess what? We will be contributing to the catastrophe that we are facing today. But at least I can say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I care about this beautiful planet that you created for us, and I planted a tree, and that's all I could do. If I plant a tree, and if you plant a tree, and if we all plant trees, slowly but surely things will improve bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. In another saying, he said, if the hour, the day of resurrection, is about to be established, and one of you was holding a palm shoot, let him take advantage of even 1 second before the hour is established to plant it. The Prophet cares about the environment. The emphasis is on the old Arabic adage, plant and do not cut. Izra' wa la taqta'. So as individuals, we can help our ailing mother, planet Earth. So let's pledge to do whatever we can. Let's begin with the intention. Make your intention very clear that you want to go green at your home, here in the masjid, wherever you are. Change your lights from the traditional ones to the LED and most efficient ones. That would help too. Turn off your computers at night. You will be amazed by turning off your computer instead of leaving it in sleep mode. You can save 40 watt hours per day. Recycle, brothers and sisters, please recycle, recycle. We don't take this seriously. I see it here. We have barrels of recycling bins, and you tell the people, we are a people who is illiterate. Why? We tell them, brothers, read. You know, one thing that made America so great is because they're literate. They read everything, small and big. There'll be signs over there. Welcome. Please keep your shoes on the racks. Read before you move. We should be a literate ummah. Read. Iqra. Iqra. Wallah, nobody reads. Take off their shoes, put it there. Recycle. It says clearly, recycle. I really don't know what's wrong with us. Simple little things. And those simple little things, mind you, made people like here in America ahead of everybody in the world. When we should be the ones. We have the Islam. We have the Quran. We have the legacy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Recycle plastic. Don't buy plastic. Or if you do, just recycle it. Don't throw it in the trash. It's amazing for how long before it decomposes. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years, releasing all these gases that are within, the plastic bottle. Imagine what we're doing to the environment. So there's so much we can do indeed. Use both sides of the papers, for example. Recycle newspaper and paper. Recycle your old cell phones, for that matter. And of course, plant a tree, as we said. Brush without running water. How many of you brushes while the water is running? Conserve water. Conserve water. Think about it for a moment. And you will be amazed at how much you save. I mean, even the Prophet ﷺ was adamant on conserving water. He passed one day by a companion, and Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, while he was performing wudu, and the Prophet said, "What's this wastage? You're wasting so much water." And then Sa'd replied, radiallahu anhu, "Is there wastage in wudu, O Prophet?" The Prophet said, "Yes, even if you are at a flowing river, you have abundant amount of water, still you have to conserve water and use only what you need." Anyway, I would leave you with this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, عن أبو سعيد الخدري رضي الله عنه, إن الدنيا حلوة خضرة وإن الله تعالى مستخلفكم فيها فينظر كيف تعملون فاتقوا الدنيا واتقوا النساء. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, he said, the world is sweet and green. And verily Allah has made you stewards in it in order to see how you act. Brothers and sisters, Mother Earth is ailing, and so is our environment. What we have is a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is our collective responsibility to make sure that we protect and safeguard this trust that belongs to God, to Allah, the All-Wise, the All-Merciful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us be among those who do something and work toward the repair of this world, inshallah. Allahumma ameen. Inna Allah malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiyya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma inna ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم ألف بين قلوبهم واجمع ذات بينهم وثبت أقدامهم وانصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم وارحمنا برحمتك الواسعة يا أرحم الراحمين. وأقم الصلاة يرحمني ويرحمكم.